Tonight's DJ and TV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJ and TV Insiders.
Hey, thanks for watching Creating Connections Podcast, episode 160. I am Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vickie Musni.
And today we're going to talk about PSN. Personality, sales, and networking. We might not talk a lot about sales, but we're going to talk about the P in the end, personalities and networking today. And Vickie's going to share some insights. Stay tuned for more.
That was nice and easy.
What are you talking about? This also speaks to a much bigger issue.
Providing personal solutions through understanding people. This is the Creating Connections Podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musni.
Welcome back to Creating Connections Podcast, episode 160. I'm Mitch.
And I'm Vickie.
And today we're talking about personalities and networking. Now, my understanding is that, networking is one of those things that it's one of those things you're just told you kind of have to do.
Well, if you own your business and you're wearing multiple hats,
yeah,
you kind of need to do it. And it doesn't have to be networking in the sense of, I'm going to go to a chamber mixer or I'm going to go to join a BNI group or whatever.
Right.
It can just be when you're out, even at an event. We all know if we're at a wedding, we are not the only vendor there.
Right.
So we're talking about just connecting peer-to-peer, colleague-to-colleague with other event professionals, if you want to think of networking in that broader sense.
And to me, it's important that you understand how best to network for you.
Yes.
And then how you can adapt you to the other folks that are around you so that you can connect with them on a deeper level.
Absolutely.
What specifically can you do? So that's what we're going to explore today. So, Vickie, you're a certified personality trainer.
Yeah.
So you have the insight here.
Well, and Mitch, what I hear a lot from business owners is, oh, I'm not good at networking, or if only I was this personality type over here. If only I was a yellow. Yellows are the perfect networkers. They have it so easy. If I was that personality, I could be a really good networker.
Right.
Well, first of all, I don't think that's true. Secondly, it doesn't really matter because you can't change your personality anyways. You have to just work with what you have. So you can make modifications in your behavior and you can say, oh, these are the things that I'm naturally good at. How can I build on those skills in regard to building relationships and networking? When I talk about the yellow personality, they're that loud, talkative, can strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere personality. People think, oh, it's super easy for yellows to network because starting up conversations comes really naturally to them. But you know what is really difficult for most yellows? Remembering names.
Stay focused.
Focusing, not interrupting, listening, follow up, follow through. Those are really, really hard for yellows. So no, it's not that they have this ideal networking personality. Yeah, there's certain parts of it that come more easy to them. And so yes, while they can be great at starting up a conversation, yellows have to kind of train themselves to, once the conversation gets going, to shut up, to listen, to pay attention. If somebody's talking about how, their mom just had surgery or something like that, and you aren't really dialed in, you're going to just miss that part. But then what happens when you see them at an event in 2 weeks? Imagine if you could say to them sincerely, how's your mom doing? I remember you saying that she just had that surgery. talk about a difference in connecting.
Yeah.
To just the casual, hey, how was your week?
Right.
See you here. But if you can, but it takes more work for yellows. Now, blues are kind of the opposite. They're opposite on that chart that I teach from, and they have the opposite strengths and the opposite challenges. It may be a lot harder for a blue to start that initial conversation, but blues tend to be very good listeners, and they're good at remembering those kind of details. So for a blue, that follow-up and that, that being able to remember those things and ask those questions later, that's the easy part.
Yeah.
The hard part for a blue is actually getting to the event and starting the conversation. So for a blue, you know what I'd recommend? Find a yellow friend. Yes. Find a yellow friend. Just tag along with them. Let them start the conversation and get it going. And then you can reap the benefit of building onto that relationship for yourself without that other part that might be a little harder or a little scarier for your personality type. So
what about the other personality types, the reds and greens?
The reds and the greens? Okay.
Yeah, the Christmas colors.
Yeah, the Christmas colors. Well, reds, as you and I know, both tend to be very focused and blunt and not necessarily always very good at small talk. And the other big challenge, I think, for reds is that we tend to be so overscheduled. We're often rushing from one event to the next. And without realizing it, we can make people feel like either that it's a bother for us to be there, or that, wow, aren't you lucky? I'm gracing you with my presence because I have had such a busy day and here I am.
Right.
Just by mentioning, oh yeah, I just had this and that, and I've got to hurry up, I've got this meeting. And we're just kind of going through our to-do list in our head, but there's really no benefit in a relationship to bring that out. So reds really need to do something to get focused on one event before they get there. So if it is one of those more traditional networking events, like a mixer or a chamber event or something like that, my advice to a red is to find a carpool buddy, because that will help you focus the conversation and kind of transition from whatever you just came from and get focused on one person and then get ready for that event. Plus, you also can know that you are saving gas, saving time, maximizing that time, and is very efficient, and that appeals to the red personality. Be careful, because what I don't want you to do is get to a room and look at it like a to-do list, where I have to collect business cards from every single person in the room and I'm only budgeting 30 seconds per person.
Right.
But have an actual goal. Okay, I want to try to connect with 3 people. But frame it in your mind, this is my goal, even though it's not everybody, but actually work on having 3 deeper conversations. And that does take a little more work for a red. Now, sometimes though, the part that reds have easy, like the blues, they tend to be really good at follow-up because they often have their systems in place. They know what they're going to do with those business cards they collect, or they're really good about looking at them right away and sending out the LinkedIn invites or Facebook friend requests or whatever it is as part of your follow-up, asking permission to add them to your newsletter or whatever you do. Reds tend to be good at that part, but they need to be reminded to slow down and be present in the moment. And then again, opposite personalities, opposite needs and challenges.
Greens,
I love greens. I'm married a green. Greens are comfortable. So while they can be really easy for people to talk to, and that is a strength, people like to be around greens. What I see the most from greens, and kind of why I quit bringing my husband to networking events, is because he would find like that one person that he felt comfortable with and just stay talking to them the whole rest of the event. And while that can be great for that one relationship, if your goal is to grow your network, you have to force yourself outside of that. So maybe in your case, you need to find a red whose tendency is to try to work the room to the extreme and work together and balance each other out to find those 3 to 4 people that you can have meaningful conversations with, but not spend the whole 90 minutes with.
So partner up with opposite personalities. Make sure you're carpooling. Make sure you have a plan in place. Make sure you have a follow-up plan in place. and be present in the moment with each person.
And know that no matter what personality type you are, you can become a good networker. It is not something that you are either born with or without. There are things that you can do to train yourself to be more effective, but you have to play to those strengths and acknowledge the areas where you struggle a little more and come up with a plan.
Very, very great advice. Great advice from Vickie on personalities and networking. Hope you got something out of today's episode. That's it for episode 160. I'm Mitch Taylor.
And I'm Vickie Musni.
We provide personal solutions through understanding people. We'll see you next time.
See you next week. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Creating Connections podcast with Gitomer Certified Advisor Mitch Taylor and Certified Personality Trainer Vickie Musni. For more information on providing personal solutions through understanding people better, visit creatingconnections.biz.